Pace work to be completed. English Pace RR11, page 21 until 22. Page 21. Comprehension Association. Look at the pictures on page 21. Listen carefully. Some of the things at the bottom of the page belong in a living room. Some do not. With your crayons, color the things that belong in a living room. Page 22. Unicorn coloring sheet. Color the unicorn coloring sheet. Pace work to be completed. Science Pace RR11, page 11 until 12. Page 11. Unicorn horn. Listen carefully. This unicorn has broken one of its horns. Let's help it find its broken horn. With your finger, trace the path that shows how the unicorn will find its horn. With your pencil, draw a line from the unicorn to its horn. Page 12. Animals hibernation. Listen carefully. When it gets very cold in the winter, most plants die, and many animals cannot find food. God made a way for these animals to live through the winter. In the fall, animals such as bears and chipmunks eat as much food as they can. They eat and eat until they get fat. Then, when winter comes, the bears go to their caves and the chipmunks go to their homes to sleep. The bears and the chipmunks and some other animals sleep for a long time. They sleep most of the winter. These animals eat enough in the fall to last most of the winter. They do not get hungry while they sleep. God has special ways of caring for animals. Think, why can't some animals find food in the winter? What do bears and chipmunks do in the fall? How long do bears and chipmunks sleep? Do they get hungry while they sleep? Who cares for the animals? With your pencil, draw over the dot line from the bear to the cave. Repeat step 4, making appropriate changes in wording for the chipmunk and its underground nest. Pace work to be completed. Social Studies Pace RR11, page 25 until 26. Page 25. President George Washington. Listen carefully. We have learned that the leader of our country is our president. The very first president of our country was George Washington. Mr. Washington lived a long time ago. Mr. Washington was the leader of the army during a great war. Mr. Washington was a very brave soldier. Mr. Washington was also a farmer. Then he became the very first president of our country, the United States of America. Mr. Washington was a soldier, then a farmer, and then the president. George Washington always prayed and read his Bible. George Washington loved God. George Washington led our country to follow and obey God. Think, what was the name of the first president of our country? Did George Washington pray and read his Bible? Did George Washington lead our country to follow and obey God? With your eyes, find George Washington the soldier. With your pencil, circle George Washington the soldier. With your eyes, find George Washington the farmer. With your pencil, circle George Washington the farmer. With your eyes, find George Washington the president. With your pencil, circle George Washington the president. Page 26, President Abraham Lincoln. Listen carefully. Almost 100 years after George Washington was president, there was another great president. This president was Abraham Lincoln. When Mr. Lincoln was president, some people wanted to make our land, the United States, into two countries. Abraham Lincoln helped keep the United States as one country. When Mr. Lincoln was president, many people had slaves. This means that some people bought other people and made them work without giving them any money. Rich people would buy slaves to work for them. Abraham Lincoln helped make a law that said it was wrong for one person to own another person. Abraham Lincoln loved God and read the Bible. Abraham Lincoln was a good president. Think, what is a slave? Did slaves get paid for working? Is it right for one person to own another person? Abraham Lincoln was a great president for the United States. With your crayon, draw a line from Abraham Lincoln to the flag. Abraham Lincoln helped keep our land, the United States, as one country. Draw a line from Abraham Lincoln to the pictures of our land. Abraham Lincoln read the Bible and was a good president. Draw a line from Abraham Lincoln to the Bible.